Marjorie Taylor Greene, United States Congresswoman, says racist white people, I mean Republicans, will leave the state of Georgia if Stacey Abrams is elected governor. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Here it is.
But Stacey Abrams, though, now she wants to be governor, and I think she's all in on this. George Soros is heavily backing her. She has money she's got more money than God at this point.
If she wins and is the governor with Brad Raffensperger as Secretary of State, how long will it take to save Georgia from that? Because they're going to do institutional things to harm the voting process.
Yeah. Well, number one, we have multiple problems. Number one, most people I know that like whose kids have grown and they're empty nesters, they all say, we will move. They're saying they'll move out of Georgia. They'll move to Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida.
Okay,
your state.
We'll take them.
Yeah, y'all are getting everybody. So they're saying the Stacey Abrams, so that's Republican votes leaving. That's a big problem.
Red flight.
Oh yeah, it will be. And then the other problem is, well, the state legislator, they will have to hold the line, right? And they're not very strong. They're just not. They allow stupid things like Democrats voting in primaries. So it'll be a major issue. Hopefully she won't win, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene has threatened citizens of Georgia with Republicans leaving Georgia if Stacey Abrams gets elected governor. I just hope that move comes with Marjorie Taylor Greene moving too. There's a lot more. Don't think the irony is missed on me that she's discussing this whole thing with a guy who's under investigation for child sex trafficking. All right. Okay, so she said the inside part out loud, something that has become very common now. Stacey Abrams put up a picture. She ran unopposed in the Democratic primary. Now, here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset about. Forever in the state of Georgia, you are allowed to run as a Republican, Democrat. You can run as an independent in the other party. The Libertarian Party is a strong third party inside of Georgia. So you simply get to declare on the day you vote if you are a Democrat or Republican, meaning you can just vote on the Democratic primary side or the Republican primary side. You cannot vote in both. You have to vote one or the other. You don't have to declare that you are only a Democrat or only a Republican. You can switch it up when you choose to. They don't like that system. Abrams and fellow Democratic candidates will have to make the case that Kemp and his fellow Republicans left a record of failure. That is going to be the fight. Here's her opponent. This is the current governor. That is Kemp, all right? Kemp beat David Perdue. David Perdue was backed by Donald Trump. Bernard Jones was backed by Donald Trump. A lot of people backed by Donald Trump in Georgia lost their election, all right? So she brought up Raffensperger. Raffensperger is the Secretary of State, Republican. He's the chief elections officer. He is not backed by Trump, but he's running against a young lady named Bee Nguyen. It is spelled Nguyen, but pronounced Nguyen. I had a great conversation with Miss Nguyen just a couple of days ago. Nguyen actually took over the seat of Abrams in the Georgia legislature when she chose to run for governor the first time around. Abrams now backs Nguyen for Secretary of State. So Nguyen, Bee Nguyen, is a Stacey Abrams endorsed candidate. All right. Greene believes part of the reason Kemp and Raffensperger won their primaries was due to the state's open primary system. Several reports suggest many Democrats actually swapped sides during the primary season to oppose candidates endorsed by former President Donald Trump. An analysis provided by data firm L2 found that more than 37,000 people who voted in Georgia's Democratic primary 2 years ago crossed over to cast ballots in the May 24th Republican primary. Here's the issue with their data. Because I checked, that data, that kind of crossover, not abnormal, is actually pretty much in line with how it works every year. You have a significant number of people that actually will cross party lines and vote Republican one election cycle, and then they decide to vote Democratic the next one. Nothing abnormal about those numbers. All right, Dina, thoughts here?
Well, her thought about people moving the state. I mean, here's the thing, we can barely get people to vote, okay? So they're certainly not going to be uprooting themselves and moving just because somebody won an election. Everyday people are focused on getting food on their table, seeing their children, in between their multiple jobs and trying to survive in this country. And this idea that it's so consequential, right? Actually, for anybody to live, that they're going to sell their home or somehow uproot is just not true. And I think that there's this fear around it. And I think it's a real disconnect from really what people's lives are all about. And although people can be focused on politics, they're certainly not making life decisions based on it.
Very well said. And listen, when Matt Gaetz said red flight, that was his code for white flight, just so you know. I didn't miss that either.